Welcome back. When Bill O'Reilly interviewed President Obama last weekend, the president had some sage advice for Fox News.
Here's what you guys are going to have to figure out is what are you going to do when I'm gone?
I think we already know the answer. Her name is Hillary Rodham Clinton. A few hours after the presidential interview, Clinton had a little fun at Fox News' expense on Twitter. Here's what she wrote. "It's so much more fun to watch Fox when it's someone else being blitzed and sacked. Hashtag Super Bowl." Of course, Fox is not the only voice of opposition to Obama and wouldn't be the only voice of opposition to a Clinton candidacy either. Senator Rand Paul keeps bringing up Bill Clinton in interviews, and then he keeps playing the Lewinsky card. Listen to what he said about Bill Clinton in an interview with the conservative website Newsmax.
Would you call him an unsavory character?
Yeah, I mean, a predator, a sexual predator, basically, repetitive.
Strong stuff, very strong stuff, and very controversial stuff. In several interviews, we've heard Paul call the Clintons a package deal. He's implying it is fair game. So I want to see what our guests think. Is it fair to use Bill to go after Hillary? Let's bring him in. Sally Kohn, CNN's political commentator, and the same as well, Will Cain, from the left and the right here. And Will, let's start with you. You just heard Carl Bernstein say he thinks it is fair game to be bringing up Bill Clinton's past. Do you as well?
Yeah, I do think it's fair game. Look, I get it. I get it from the Democratic side of the aisle. I get, my God, Bill Clinton again. This is 20 years old. However, I don't actually think this is a political maneuver on Rand Paul's behalf. I think it's about hypocrisy. The Republicans have endured this false war on women for years now. And after a while, you just choke on the hypocrisy of Bill Clinton being the spokesman, the keynote speaker of the Democratic Party. I think if you ask most Americans, Brian, regardless of party affiliation, here is your avatar. Here is your person putting this message out there. Cardboard cutout. No party affiliation, no name. Most of them look at this and go, yeah, the guy who had an affair with an intern in the workplace, this is a little hypocritical.
Sally?
This cracks me up. I mean, you have a legitimate policy-driven war on women that Republicans, including Rand Paul, who in the same remarks said, hey, actually, I think women are winning. I'm more worried about what men are going through in America, who refuses to acknowledge the wage gaps, the real pressures on single moms, on working mothers, all of these things that Republican policies make worse, not to mention, of course, the attack on abortion and contraception. And they want to deflect from this war on women. They have this sort of idea that, oh, we can do this by suggesting that the Democrats have all these candidates and political leaders who are pervs so that we don't actually have to talk about Republican policies, as though there's some kind of equivalency between those things.
Do you really see no hypocrisy in Bill Clinton being the spokesman of the Democratic Party's war on women, to be someone who's advanced that argument, the man who had an affair with a 20-year-old in the Oval Office? You see no hypocrisy there?
Listen, I didn't like the affair with Lewinsky. I still don't like the affair with Lewinsky. I don't like what Spitzer did. I don't like what any of them have done. But to equivocate that with the policies that Republicans are continuing to pursue that make it harder for women to control their own bodies and control their own economic justice, that's what Rand Paul is trying to deflect away from.
Interviewers are the one that keep asking Rand Paul about this. I wonder if the press is ginning this up more than anything else because they want to be able to bring these stories back into the news.
Well, conflict makes for good TV.
We saw that with Bill O'Reilly and
right.
President Obama last week.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I think in the end we have a true and real policy difference that on whether or not women should be able to ask someone else to pay for their contraception, on when life begins. But these have nothing that amount to a war on women. And again, when you do this, you expect this kind of rebuttal. Excuse me, Bill Clinton is your spokesman. Look yourself in the mirror.
Let's also be clear. The Republicans got this training, right? They ran trainings for the Republican men running against women because they need training on how to run against women without saying offensive things. And clearly, I guess, the new arsenal in the toolbox that Rand Paul is trying out is, oh, well, let's not actually have a sensible, respectful debate with women running for office about their policies and their ideas. Let's just attack their husbands. I'll go that route.
Use the word respectful. I want to ask you about the O'Reilly-Obama interview. We just played a clip from it, and some people were calling it disrespectful. Did you all feel that the tone was appropriate, Sally?
No, I did not think the tone was appropriate. Look, in 2011...
Shouldn't the president be able to take what Bill O'Reilly's asking?
In 2011, O'Reilly interrupted... I mean, this is who Bill O'Reilly is, let's be honest. He is an aggressive interviewer. I have a great relationship with Bill. I respect him. In 2011, he interrupted the president 48 times. This time, he, by some counts, 42 times. Of a 2,500-word interview, Bill O'Reilly spoke 1,000 of those words. It's more of a debate, really, than it even is an interview.
And that's what makes it
that's
great.
What makes
Yes,
it good TV, though, right?
He's aggressive. He's also one of the best interviewers. I have no reason to curry favor with Bill O'Reilly. I neither work at Fox nor know the man. However, I will tell you this. The number one tool of politicians, Brian, in an interview, the number one tool is filibuster. Speak as long as you can. You expose yourself to as few questions as possible. Bill O'Reilly moves it along, makes it a conversation, makes it a back and forth. You get something out of his interviews you do not get out of 8 out of the other 10 interviews.
He also,
Yeah,
I got to
but-
give him credit. He covered his own interview 5 nights in a row afterwards. You got to give him credit for milking that very well. One more topic in the minute we have left. The Olympics now going on over in Sochi, Russia, and we saw in the opening ceremonies NBC edit out part of the anti-discrimination statement from the head of the IOC. Let me read part of what was taken out. It says, yes, it is possible to strive even for the greatest victory with respect for the dignity of your competitors. Yes, yes, it is possible, even as competitors, to live together under one roof in harmony, with tolerance and without any form of discrimination for whatever reason. Did NBC make a mistake by editing that part out of the opening
They
ceremony?
definitely made a mistake. Sally and I talked about this ahead of time. It's definitely a
We agree.
mistake. The question is whether or not it's an intentional mistake.
So you
right?
agree on that, and do you think it was intentional?
I don't. I think you're looking at one of the most boring aspects of the Olympics, not only the opening ceremonies, but the speech by the IOC president. You cut 4 minutes out. The paragraph after that, he did talk about tolerance. He did go on to talk about diversity. They did cut out the most pointed aspects, but I don't think they meant to.
First of all, this is the gayest opening ceremonies in the history of an Olympics ever. That has to be said. So this was not the most interesting moment. I agree with Will on that one. But you have this subtext of NBC taking heat, as they should be, for broadcasting these Olympics that are happening in a country that has these incredibly vicious, atrocious anti-gay laws. And a lot of people, myself included, don't think we should even be having the Olympics there at all. So they have that heat. Cutting this, incidental accident on purpose, it certainly is a convenient way to avoid having to talk
Right,
about
NBC
that, right?
says it was for time reasons, but the fact that
Why
these
cut
questions
that
get
part?
asked shows
Why cut that
why they
part?
were in such a hard position. Well, Sally and Will, thank you both for being here.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
you very much.